And now for a Next News special report.
Now, I know you have all been waiting for my reaction to last night's debate, and my friends, there was a lot to unpack. So brace yourselves for a political earthquake. This is one comprehensive report you do not want to miss. We've got it all. Biden's debate performance, well, it's ignited a firestorm, leaving the Democrat Party in shambles. We've uncovered explosive footage that party insiders are scrambling to hide. From shocking gaffes to behind-the-scenes panic, our exclusive report exposes it all. Is a last-minute candidate switch imminent? The Heritage Foundation warns of impending chaos. And don't miss our final thought. It's a game changer that could reshape America's future. This is one special report you cannot afford to skip. Now, just as the Democrat Party finds itself at a critical crossroads, so too does our nation's quest for truth. For over a decade, we've been your beacon of unfiltered news, but now we face our own moment of crisis. The establishment, much like those trying to silence Biden's critics, has demonetized us, but we refuse to back down. Your support is our lifeline in this battle for transparency. By donating today, you are not just keeping us afloat, you're safeguarding America's right to know. Don't let them silence us. Act now. The links are below. Now, in the wake of last night's presidential debate, the political landscape has been rocked to its core. What we witnessed wasn't just a debate, it was a seismic event that has left the Democrat Party in shambles. Let's dive into the chaos piece by piece. The debate, broadcast earlier than any in recent history, left many wondering about its timing. But as the night unfolded, the reason became painfully clear. Representative Matt Gaetz didn't mince words when he appeared on Fox News. Watch.
Donald Trump delivered the most dominant debate performance in presidential debate history. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was bludgeoned so bad he will likely have to be identified by his dental records after this debate. President Trump showed focus, showed clarity, boldness, vision. And you know what? Donald Trump showed empathy for the people who have been the victims of the illegal immigration Joe Biden has allowed. And him showing that empathy, it is going to grow our movement. Meanwhile, the other side is in total chaos. The headline in Politico, Biden is toast.
Now, Gaetz's colorful description of Biden being bludgeoned so bad he'll likely have to be identified by his dental records set the tone for the post-debate analysis. But it wasn't just Republicans sounding the alarm. The mainstream media, often criticized as fake news, began murmuring about the need for new leadership. This sudden shift raised eyebrows, with some speculating that even former President Barack Obama might be behind it. So take a look at this tweet from Obama's former National Security Advisor, Deputy Security Advisor Ben Rhodes, telling people they didn't see what they saw is not the way to respond to this. Now, the narrative was clearly set in stone when John King opened CNN's debate analysis. Watch.
Right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates.
King's revelation of deep, wide, and very aggressive panic in the Democrat Party was just the beginning. Chris Wallace on CNN, he didn't hold back either. Watch.
This has been, quite frankly, a car accident in slow motion that we've seen over and building and questioning it. And, you know, as has been pointed out, Joe Biden sought this debate at this remarkably early time because he knew he was losing and he needed to change the narrative. Yeah. And he did change the narrative. He sunk his campaign tonight.
Wallace's description of the debate as a car accident in slow motion was echoed across networks. Even traditionally left-leaning commentators couldn't hide their dismay. Former Senator Claire McCaskill, now a MSNBC contributor, was visibly shaken. Watch this.
Now, the hard and heartbreaking part. I have been a surrogate for some presidential candidates in my time. I know what the job is after a debate of a surrogate. I've never wanted to be a surrogate more than I do right now. Because when you're a surrogate, you have to focus on the positives. But I have said very clearly and very plainly on this network, and my job now is to be really honest. Joe Biden had one thing he had to do tonight, and he didn't do it. He had one thing he had to accomplish, and that was reassure America that he was up to the job at his age. And he failed at that tonight. Now, does that mean that my phone blowing up with senators and campaign operatives and donors, big donors from all over the country, does that mean that Joe Biden is not going to be the candidate? I don't know that. I think we'll know a lot more in a few weeks, how this plays out, how the polling plays out. But I think a couple of things are going on right now. I think I'm not the only one whose heart is breaking right now. There's a lot of people who watched this tonight and felt terribly for Joe Biden. And, you know, you have to ask, how did we get here? How did we get to the point that we're spending a whole lot of time talking about the vice president tonight instead of talking about the president? And I don't know how the rest of this story is written. I don't know if things can be done to fix this. They might.
Yeah, they're not. The Young Turks, known for their progressive stance, were in full-blown panic mode. Watch this.
And the whole time the split screen is killing Biden.
Yep.
Because he's got his mouth open, he looks confused, doesn't know where he is. He's lost his train of thought at least twice in like disastrous shape. Those are gonna be played 1 billion times in viral video after viral video. This is an epic disaster. I see people online saying, well, okay, that answer wasn't so bad. No, it doesn't. Any particular answer doesn't matter at all. This thing is over. He looks like he's barely surviving. I don't mean the debate, I mean life. And so there's no person that has a single brain cell left in their head who thinks that Joe Biden is the best candidate to take on Donald Trump. You would have to be even crazier than Donald Trump to think that. This thing is over. I'll guarantee you this. I would bet show me a Democratic politician and I will bet them any amount of money that Joe Biden's going to lose this election if he's the candidate. It's a guaranteed loss. You're telling me this is the most important election of our lifetimes? You're telling me that democracy's on the line and you're going to put on a guy who can't even talk, who can't even sit there and look normal. This thing's a bloodbath. He's gonna get annihilated. That is, okay, now the Democrats have to decide. Are they happy to lose? Are they willing to lose? Because this is a guaranteed loss.
This is so much worse than my worst nightmares of what it could be like in every way. The visual stuff is obvious. The staring off, the looking down, it looks terrible. His voice is so utterly weak and feeble. And honestly, like that immediately hits you when you see him, but what he says and what he doesn't say on the most important core issues of the election are even worse. Trump won on abortion in the debate. Trump comes out of the January 6th stuff looking fine. He comes out of the criminal conviction stuff looking fine. Joe Biden looks worse on democracy after that. He looks worse on criminality after that.
Their brutal assessment of Biden's performance as an epic disaster underscores the gravity of the situation. And Joe Scarborough asked the question on everyone's mind. Watch.
If he were CEO and he turned in a performance like that, would any corporation in America, any Fortune 500 corporation in America, keep him on as CEO? Yeah.
Even Biden's close allies are jumping ship. Thomas L. Friedman, a New York Times columnist and friend of Biden, penned an op-ed that speaks volumes. Friedman's plea for Biden to bow out of the race is a stark indication of the crisis within the Democrat Party. But it wasn't just Biden's performance that raised eyebrows. His claims during the debate are being scrutinized. Take his statement about the Border Patrol. Watch.
We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was taking separate.
The Border Patrol Union quickly refuted the claim, as you saw on the screen, stating they never have and never will endorse Biden. In contrast, Trump's performance was seen as a game changer. His statement about running for office resonated with many. Watch.
I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here, but the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
Trump's assertion that he's running because Biden is so bad as a president certainly struck a chord with his base. And the debate's most pivotal moment came when Biden struggled to articulate his points. Watch.
I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame what's happened to our...
Trump's quick retort, well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, highlighted the stark contrast between the two candidates. The aftermath of the debate has been swift and brutal. Trump's campaign wasted no time releasing an ad that's simply a compilation of Biden's very worst moments. Let's watch together.
Folks, how are you? Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna, I've been proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get away with, get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
As the Democrat Party grapples with the crisis, speculation about potential replacements is running rampant. Gavin Newsom's recent statement about stepping up has fueled rumors. Watch.
You were out there getting a chorus of questions about whether Biden should step down. There is panic that has set in. There is panic that has set in among people who have watched this debate, who are Democrats, people who are strategists, and some even inside Democratic campaigns. Yeah. Do you think it's unfounded?
Well, I think it's unhelpful, and I think it's unnecessary. We've got to go in and got to keep our heads high. And as I say, we've got to have the back of this president. You don't turn your back because of one performance. What kind of party does that? It's been a masterclass. 15.6 million jobs. That's 8 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. The only thing the last 3 Republican presidents have in common is recessions. Democrats deliver. This president has delivered. We need to deliver for him at this moment. With all due respect, the more time we start having these conversations, go down these rabbit holes, it's unhelpful to our democracy, our fate and future of this country, the world. They need us right now to step up, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
But is Newsom's support sincere, or is he positioning himself for a potential nomination? Steve Bannon, speaking to Real America's Voice, offered his perspective on potential replacements. Watch.
Questions, I know it's late, and then I'll let you go.
I'll take the second one first. I think the guys like Wes Moore, they're pushing hard. I do think if he had any national recognition at all, it'd be different. I think they're in panic mode. They got, 68 days to the convention and then another 60. They're in panic. I mean, this has never been done before. They're going to switch this out. And that's why I don't even think Whitmer and Gavin Newsom have enough national recognition. They have recognition with us because we follow politics. They have national recognition on MSNBC and CNN audience. For the basic average voter out there, even those people don't quite crack it. That's why I think it will have to be a Michelle Obama. And I also think Michelle Obama is the only one that can assuage Kamala Harris about doing something. And I think they're going to make a big play for her or someone like her. They're in panic mode tonight. They know Biden will not be the Democratic nominee for president. There's just no way they can do it. I actually think there should be a move on him immediately because I think he's a danger to the country. The Wes Moore thing I think is brilliant. I think that's for 28, and I think this guy, I think this guy could be a real comer. I agree with you.
All right. Bannon's assertion that it will have to be Michelle Obama or someone like her adds another layer to the speculation. Roger Stone's long-standing prediction seems even more plausible now. Watch.
Do you think Joe Biden's going to drop out of the 2024 election?
Well, if you went to the Turning Point event in Palm Beach, which was a great event, I predicted in my remarks that shortly before the convention, the Democrats would recognize that Joe Biden is just not capable of getting through another campaign. If anything, things are worse now than they were then. He's non-compos mentis. It's quite obvious. The epic corruption of his family, including his son, his brother, and others, is now manifest. Everyone can see it. So I think the chances are greater than they have ever been before that Joe Biden will be replaced, that shortly before the convention he will announce his decision not to resign, but to not run again. He will throw it open to the convention, and I still believe that the convention will draft Michelle Obama. Now, I haven't said Michelle Obama is running for president or wants to run for president, but I think the Democrats may persuade her that she could be their last best chance to stop Donald Trump's return to the White House. So I'll stick by my prediction, and we'll see.
And Michelle Obama herself seems to be positioning for a potential run. Let's take a flashback at this interview.
The things that keep me up because you don't have control over them. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
Her expressed concerns about the upcoming election have many wondering if she's preparing to step in. With whispers of Hillary Clinton 2024 starting to circulate, as seen in the CNN headline, the plot continues to thicken. Amidst this chaos, the Heritage Foundation's oversight project has raised alarming concerns about potential election upheaval. The Heritage Foundation's oversight project has launched a preemptive strike against potential Democrat efforts to replace Joe Biden on the ballot. They've released a comprehensive draft report that meticulously outlines the legal and procedural obstacles in key swing states. specifically highlighted they have significant hurdles in Georgia, Nevada, and Wisconsin, where removing Biden from the ballot may be nearly impossible except under extreme circumstances like death or invocation of the 25th Amendment. The report details state-specific regulations such as Wisconsin only allowing candidate withdrawal in the event of death, and Nevada prohibiting ballot changes after a specific date unless the nominee dies or is declared mentally incompetent. By publicizing these legal intricacies, the Heritage Foundation is effectively putting the Democrat Party on notice and preparing a potential legal battleground should they attempt to switch candidates. Now, this proactive approach aims to ensure election integrity and prevent any last-minute maneuvers that could circumvent established electoral processes. Adding another layer of intrigue to this unfolding drama is the so-called Rockefeller precedent, a theory that's gaining traction among political analysts. Now, this scenario, recently highlighted by General Flynn, draws parallels to historical events and outlines a potential path for a major leadership shift. Now, the precedent suggests a series of steps. Vice President Harris resigning, mirroring Agnew's resignation. Biden appointing Hillary Clinton as VP, similar to Nixon appointing Ford. Biden stepping down, echoing Nixon's resignation. Clinton becoming the unelected president, as Ford did. And finally, Clinton appointing a new VP like Gavin Newsom, paralleling Ford's appointment of Rockefeller. While speculative, this theory presents a roadmap that some find plausible within the current political climate. However, it's crucial to note that such a maneuver would face significant hurdles, including the need for confirmation by both the House and the Senate, and would likely spark intense debate and controversy across the political spectrum. So as we navigate these uncharted waters, one thing is clear: the political landscape is shifting beneath our feet. The coming days and weeks will be crucial in determining the future of the Democrat ticket and potentially the fate of our nation. So stay tuned as we unravel this developing story. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This debate disaster isn't just a stumble for the Democrats. It's a full-blown crisis that's been brewing for years. We've been sounding the alarm about Biden's decline, and now it is undeniable. The world watched as a sitting U.S. president struggled to form coherent sentences on the global stage. It's a sad spectacle that will leave an indelible mark on our nation's image. Even diehard Democrats can no longer ignore the obvious. From CNN to MSNBC, liberal pundits are in full panic mode. The international community looks on in disbelief, wondering how the leader of the free world could appear so utterly lost. This isn't about politics anymore. It's about the basic competence required to lead a superpower. But who can the Democrats possibly turn to now? Clinton? Obama? Newsom? And more importantly, can they even make such a drastic change? With the Heritage Foundation's oversight project working tirelessly in the background exposing the legal quagmire of ballot substitutions, the Democrats are caught between a rock and a hard place. As this unprecedented crisis unfolds, one thing is clear: the repercussions of this debate will echo far beyond Election Day, potentially reshaping the very foundation of our political system.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.